Alrighty, welcome back to Cut Rate History. Today I want to talk about the Mk22 Hush Puppy and this clone that I have Frankensteined together. First, let's do a little background. The Smith & Wesson Mk22 Hush Puppy is a U.S. military, U.S. Navy SEAL issue handgun that is based on the Smith & Wesson Model 39 originally. And that gun looked a lot like this handgun here if it had those grips and this slide. Really no mechanical differences, but single stack, 9mm semi-auto handgun, all steel, very much a product of its time, excellent handgun, very smooth shooting. But it came about as a request from the Navy SEALs who wanted a better suppressed handgun for their, covert, high-speed, sneaky guy missions. They had been using modified 22 suppressed handguns. They had been using some, creatively sourced high powers. But they wanted something more standard, more readily available, and something specifically suited to what they were doing. So they basically went to the Ordnance Department and said, hey, can you help us out with this? And they said no. They said that they weren't going to develop a suppressed issue pistol because it was ungentlemanly, it was unsportsmanlike, whatever BS they could come up with. So the Navy SEALs came back and said, listen, no, we're not going to be using this to engage enemy combatants. We're going to be using this to take out guard dogs. Every time we get close to some sort of encampment or, group of NVA soldiers, VC soldiers, the dogs always smell us first and alert everybody that we're there. So we're just going to use this to take out the guard dogs, of course. So with that excuse in mind, the Ordnance Department allows them to pursue this new suppressed handgun, and what they come up with was a modified Model 39 from Smith & Wesson. Did I say 59 before? I don't know. If I did, I meant 39, excuse me. So what they did basically was add a threaded barrel so that it could take a suppressor, of course, and sights that looked sort of like these. They were raised up much higher than these ones are to be able to see over that suppressor. And apparently it was very well liked. It was used as widespread as anything was during the Vietnam War with the Navy SEALs. They used a lot of experimental or, low issue kind of things. The Stoner 63, the Harrington Richardson T223s, things like that. And this honestly was probably used less than either one of those, but it gets a lot of pop culture cool guy points nowadays, really from Metal Gear Solid 3. If you are familiar with that game, this is one of your main issue weapons in that game. Excuse all the fingerprints I've been handling. That's got a lot today. And it's really because of that I had always wanted one. So I put one together that I Frankensteined out of a bunch of Smith & Wesson parts. So what we have here is a Smith & Wesson 39 frame, so correct the gun. And then I took this is the slide that belongs on this frame. It's a later one. It does have adjustable sights, but no shroud on the side, and they're much lower than these target sights that do have a shroud. And the shroud is roughly the same shape as the ones that you would see on the Hush Puppy itself. They're just shorter, so it gives you the right silhouette, the same vibe, but it's not quite correct. And that came off of a Smith & Wesson Model 459. So the 459 is the double stack target version that was developed off of the 39. So the regular Model 59 from Smith & Wesson is essentially this same, or not this same gun, but a Model 39, the same base gun, just with a double stack magazine instead of a single stack magazine. They look very similar to Browning high power mags, if you're familiar with those. It was based on that. And that's what that was. And then they made the target sight version. They also made a target sight version of the Model 39. That's the 439. But the 459 slide is just what I happened to come across. I have a whole, as you can see here, I have a smorgasbord of Smith & Wesson parts lying around. I don't know how I ended up with 3 barrels from 2 guns, but I got all kinds, like I got a bag of just fire control parts over here. Really Frankenstein to this thing together, but I am very happy with the way that it came out. It's very smooth. It's a really fun shooter. The one thing that's not Smith & Wesson is the threaded barrel itself. That comes from Greg's Grips. He makes a lot of really cool stuff. It's really high quality. It's not always in stock, but if you're looking to do something like this, it's worth the wait. It's a very high quality product. I didn't have to fit this at all. It dropped right in. It's super accurate. I really do love it. I couldn't be more thankful to those guys over there. They're also, they teased the other day that they're making Mk22 faux lambs that actually fit a TLR inside, so you'll have a modern light that looks like the original lamb that fits on that stupid, Mk23 proprietary rail. So hopefully they come out with that in earnest. I mean, that would be super cool, and then I would have to go buy a Mk23. So they're making me spend all kinds of money, but at least it's on cool stuff. Anyways, back to the Smith & Wesson. The grips, I had always assumed, seeing pictures, seeing it in Metal Gear, that they were a different Smith & Wesson grip, and that they were just like a black nylon or plastic, because that's what comes later. If you look at later versions of the 459, there are black nylon grips that come on those guns. But what they did for the Hush Puppies was really just take the regular Smith & Wesson wooden grips and just paint them black. You can kind of see the wood grain there. And yeah, that's it. If you're looking to do something like this, I think this is the easiest way to go right now. There are people out there who have the correct higher style sights for these, but as far as I know, those were all one-off projects by, who had them custom made by machinists or something like that. Greg's Grips, funny enough, has been teasing at least the few of us online who have put these kind of guns together that he's going to make some Hush Puppy raised sights like that, but I don't know if that's actually coming. I don't know if he's messing with us or not. So go find him on Instagram and bully him into making those. That would be really, really cool. Other than that, yeah, I wanted to do a quick rundown on this gun because it's just so much fun. It looks so cool. And it, while not being totally correct, it does invoke the correct vibes. It has the correct silhouette. I love it a lot. And it's just, it's so much fun to shoot. And, conveniently enough, for anyone who cares, these guns, so the model, 39, 59, and that whole family, they fit almost perfectly in 1911 Commander style holsters. If anyone's curious, that's what I carry this one in when I do carry it. But I'll stop rambling. I'll let you go. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking around. I appreciate you coming out. Please like, subscribe. Those things do help. I'm trying to get back into much more regular content, and I hope you liked this one. If you enjoyed it, thanks for coming, and I'll catch you in the next one.